Good morning. It's Joyful Christian Hermit. I realize I haven't shared some of my tips um, because my family member is doing something and it's sort of scary. It's a project, to start something that's new and she hasn't done. And it involves a couple of quarts of paint that are like $35 each, different kind of paint, special kind of I put a deglosser on it, on her fireplace tile. She's painting the tile around her fireplace, a chalk paint. So we've been texting back and forth, and I realized I haven't told her what I always do for success. And it's for any task, any project, anything at all. Baking a cake, um, playing a sport, playing golf, anyone's a golfer, or reading a book before you read a book. Um, Anything at all that you want to have success with. Doing a handyman project, fixing a leaking faucet, um, pruning a tree, to make it look nice so you don't have it all lopsided or something. You want something to come out really nicely and well, successfully. Doing a video. So these are my tips because I've had to do really huge things that I never did before. And I did have a man up in the Seattle area who was a manager of this ProBuild or First Source ProBuild, something like that. And he took pity on me. Well, of course, I walked in there and then I broke down in tears just sobbing. This was like maybe 12 years ago because I realized I had been taken advantage of. I was in this tear-down house. All the money was in it. My son refused to co-sign for a renovation loan, and I needed cash. And I realized I was stuck there with my mom and dad's hard-earned money. That's what would get me to crying. When I would think how I had misused their money, their hard-earned lifelong savings. And I would remember my mother 2 days before she died looking up at me from her bed saying, that you've had such a hard life. This money, my third, it was all split evenly with my sisters. Your money, this is for you. We want your dad also wants you to have a better life now and not struggle so much. Well, there I had invested, and it turned out so well. When I look at pictures of it, even online now, how it looks, and the trees that I hauled across country in this huge truck, 32-foot truck. I had never even driven a truck before, and I was stuck. I had to myself. People who said they were going to come back and do it didn't. We were going to drive it across country for me or with me. So I was in that, going across country, loaded mostly with trees. We put in a bed and a sofa. And everything else was trees. From the bottom of that truck up, I had them bare rooted and just wrapped bags around the base. And we just crisscrossed them, stacked them up to the ceiling. Some boys helped me load it. So it was quite something. And with my pain, and at that time I had minimal pain medication, minimal. So, God has really helped me in major ways. That was huge, and then I had to learn how to do everything. I replumbed that whole house, put in a bathroom where there was none, built walls up, gutted the whole upstairs and fitted in a 5 by 8 foot bathroom, put in a shower up there, and the whole works. Figured it out down to the inch of getting in a shower that had the it had slanted ceilings up there. So the inside of the shower was on a slant down like that, and then down, knee hole wall they call it, or knee wall. And tiled it. I used glass block and then step stacked them to have a glass shower door with just a little opening for, a regular walk-through opening with a curtain on it. And had to be very clever. And my angel helped me, but I had so many obstacles. The devil fought me all the way. Bad things one after another would happen, even with the kitchen cabinets, and big war with Lowe's on that. They had sold me cabinets that had been discontinued because they were bad. And they were in 3 months and they started to go bad, and I had to battle, and God helped me. I caught the man and the supervisor. I overheard them saying, weren't these the cabinets that were discontinued because they were bad? The salesman at store had sold them to me on the last day before they were being cut off. And he knew. He figured, well, what would it hurt? Maybe they won't be bad for her or something. I don't know. But it took me 2 years of battling, and then to get new ones, they had to gut the kitchen. My son-in-law, who's very grumpy, former son-in-law now, helped put them in one Saturday. And then I got the rest in, and the electrician helped me with others. But and he had a friend come out too another Saturday, my former son-in-law, my daughter, all helped, and those all had to be taken out. But Lowe's, then I forced them to, called corporate finally, sobbing on the phone because I was at the end of but still, all of this had to be worked out through God. They could have held firm and not done a thing. And but I had other obstacles. I died about 3 or 4 times out there, had accidents that would have killed me. So God is so good, but you always set up before you start anything. You pray, you call upon some saint. If you're not Catholic and you don't know saints, ask any soul on the other side to help. And think of anyone in your life that you knew who's died, who maybe was a handyman or very good with things, or a contractor, or a builder, or someone in the news you heard about, some big builder, and who's died, and call upon them to help. Or anybody at all, you don't even have to know them. Call upon them on the other side to help you with whatever project. And ask the author. If they're alive, pray and ask. And if they're deceased, or ask other similar authors. Always call upon your guardian angel. Just do this mental walkthrough before you start. And then also, this is key, set intentions. Tell the Lord, I am doing this for the soul of such and so, or for this situation in the world, or for the poor, or for children who are being abused or trafficked, or whatever you happen to think of, or anyone you know, someone sick with cancer, or someone with a broken leg, or who's lost their job, anything. Anyone, any purpose that's worthwhile. Set that as your intention. That I'm doing this task, I'm reading this book for this purpose, this intention. And I'll give my whole heart and all of my love of God for this intention. And to do the very best I possibly can. And I think I've mentioned, get your guardian angel on board. Ask your guardian angel to help. I often neglect my guardian angel anymore. And even for sickness, anything. I realize I've been very negligent with this sickness I have. I woke up this morning and of course my left knee has swollen up again, my bad knee. It had been doing very well until this sickness that I'm not able to throw it off. And my whole left leg was in terrible pain. When I would try to step on it, I had all this pain going down it, and my knees painful and swollen. It cleared up then, but I need to get the energy to go get that blood test done, because maybe my blood cancer thing is enlivened or something. I'm not able to get over a normal. And I've had 3 antibiotics. I've taken all these Mucinex 12-hour big pills, over the counter, all these supplements I take. It's starting to drain, but when I get up, I'm just sick, my head, and so I am going to drive today to get my neck worked on. It's not the guy who has all the special training. It's just whoever, some man. But so I'll pray with that too. But I realized Coyne had sent this book, and in it are pasted holy people. Here's a holy card of Blessed Francis Xavier Seelos. He'd be one to call upon for reading this book. But also, here's she's considered sort of a co-founder of Venerable Sister Thecla Merlo. She helped Blessed, or he might be a saint now, St. James Alberoni, the founder of all the St. Paul family. The male order, the female order, the daughters of St. Paul, I don't know what they call it, maybe the sons of St. Paul. They have a priestly order. They have various apostolates connected. They have their publishing arm, St. Paul Media and Books, and they do online things now. That's their charism, is to spread the gospel like St. Paul did, but using whatever means is in the current time of our life, of society in the world. But I realize I should be asking this Venerable Sister Thecla Merlo to help me get over this. And also Saint Seelos, Saint Francis Xavier Seelos. Start calling upon the saints, Padre Pio, all of them. Get me healed, please. Get this out of me, this illness, so that I can build up stamina again without wiping out. My daughter, I know she would really like some moral support with this project she's doing. And she even said it's scary. And I know how it feels. When I start anything, that head hole in the wall, especially if it's for someone else, I just feel so responsible and hope and pray that it's going to turn out okay. So I set all my intentions. I prayed. I offered it for 4 different specific people who are in need of prayer, and especially their souls. And you can call on the souls in purgatory. Anyone that you think might be in purgatory. If they're not going to be offended if they're already in heaven. They'll help you still. But I had always called on for car trouble. This neighbor man, Dean Wakefield, when I was a little girl, he was excellent with airplanes and cars and engines, and he did a miracle for my son in getting a car started when he was in either Washington, D.C. or New York City, and I think D.C. rented a Zip car. I've told you about this before, and he had to get to an appointment. with his career, and he couldn't get it to start. It would not turn over at all. And I said, well, I'm going to ask Dean. He called me. What do I do? It's back when he, was, still more in connection with me, very much so, and knew that I would pray and come up with something to do. His mom, call mom. And he was like maybe 24, 25 then. And I said, I'm going to ask Dean Wakefield to help. I said, I think he's probably in purgatory or in heaven by now, probably in heaven. How do you know? I said, well, he's in one or two of the places. He'll help. He'll remember me. So I just said right there, Dean, help my son get this car to start. It's not starting, not even turning over. My son turned that key. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to start it up. Boom, like that. Good old Dean. And so they're waiting, willing, ready to help us. I'm going to ask Dr. Gill. Dr. Gill, he was this young doctor that came to my hometown. They lived across the street. They had built a house where my parents had built a house when I was in high school and college and all through. And but we moved in when I was just starting high school. And I babysat for them. They had 5 children, and he was a wonderful family practitioner, new to the town, lovely wife, and I babysat for them, and he got brain cancer. Died quickly, like within 6 weeks. It was tragic. He's the one that found my cousin's cancer just the spring before. Or maybe it's a year and a half before, but he's the one that found it. And he would have had my aunt take, but the team doctor, this old time doctor, was the team doctor, basketball team, and kept just injecting my cousin with penicillin to keep him going so he could play in the games, even though he had this terrible cough and repeated strep throat. So ended up having lung cancer and went into his bones. But it was Dr. Gill who found it and got him immediately into the hospital in the city nearby. So, but Dr. Gill's definitely in heaven. He is such a wonderful man. And I'm going to ask him to help me get over this. Or if not, then I need to find out what's going on. But I want to try to get this place in better shape. It's just a mess in here. And, I'd like to have the stamina to drive and give it's just 6 miles. It'll be 5 miles from the physical therapist working on my neck soon. So, I'm going to ask Dick Gill, Dr. Gill, for help. And, I'm going to set my intentions for my sickness. I texted my daughter to do these things. Whether she will or not is up to her. If we want to struggle, and even for reassurance and confidence, I said, call upon some great artist, or sculptor even, Michelangelo or Raphael or Van Gogh. Call upon any of them to help with this artistic painting project of her tile. It's just plain paint, but it's so far the primer was very chalky and just never had used this kind of product before. I haven't either. But this is how I operate all the time. But I need to be more aware, like when I framed in windows or anything I do. Cooking something, just go ahead. Why not have success and help and enjoy their company too? They like to be called upon and be involved in our daily lives. I need to do more of that. Include them in when I read a book. Ask the author or the people who are written about, especially if you're reading a holy book, or ask the saint who wrote it, or the one that it's about, to give it more insights or connection. And it's just but I think all the souls in purgatory love to help with our anything in the daily life. If you take your car to get it worked on, pray for those people, but still ask the others to help them. Ask your guardian angel to stay behind and to make sure that that person's guardian angel's doing a good job. I have found, it's sad, but single women, especially when you're old and you look like me and all bedraggled, and I've got these scars here. These were where they taped. I had very fine skin, thin skin, and when I was 36 and they did the surgery, they had these, they put gauze over your eyes and taped it, and they had done it twice on me, and they had tubes also going in and taped those, but these were from the eye patches, and my children were going to see me. Somebody was going to bring my children to see me on their way to their visitation at their dad's. Away from the airport, we're going to stop at the airport, stop at the hospital and let them see me. And he says, well, you can't have your children see you with all these tubes and these, the tape still on you. And so he tore them off, and it left, he says, oh dear, he says, now I've left you looking like you've been in a cat fight, because it left marks. So I've had these scars ever since then, all the 37 years. But when I had to go someplace, I would put, makeup over them so they wouldn't be so obvious. But anyway, I look bedraggled. I look 103 instead of 73. And they can think, well, and the handyman who would come here, I would even tell them, I know what I'm doing with this stuff. So don't mess around, please. Do it right. And no. But I think maybe in those cases they didn't know how to do it. But they didn't know how to ask for help. Supernal help, heavenly help, divine help. And the ones in purgatory particularly, I have found to be outstanding help. So I'm going to ask them to help me with the big guy here on the bed, Lovey. Help me get him more trained. So anyway, those are my tips for doing anything at all. Even praying. Ask your guardian angel to help you pray more, better, deeper, more sincerely. This reminder for me, like I say, I've been slovenly with it. I've been distracted, mind on other things. We can't afford to do that. We can't afford to not keep our mind on God's will and on God, Holy Spirit, Jesus, in other words, the Trinity. Ask the Virgin Mary for help with anything of when we need grace or gentility or prudence or patience, anything of the feminine, and also power, wisdom. She's the most of any human being, and of handling any of our venial sins. She's a good one to call upon to help teach us how to be better. So, okay, that's my tips. Go for it, and let your angel, let the Holy Spirit inspire in all kinds of ways. Light a candle. I need to get all my holy pictures up. Although all the holy people are here, but still the pictures are here, they're just not up. But reminders of all the saints, and just in any way, God bless His real presence in us. Enjoy, have fun, get into it. And you'll be amazed, and then say your praises. You'll be amazed at how astonished you will be at what you can accomplish. Even if you are suffering and in bed, how much you can benefit from reading then, or your prayers will become more efficacious, or anything you do, anything you say to other people. If you're going to be talking with someone or advising someone, if you're suffering and you're helping someone else who's suffering, or writing a note to someone, pray in advance. Ask for help from the great writers of the world, and of the holy world too. The Apostle John, he'd be great for inspiration. And whoever wrote Hebrews, beautiful. The Psalms, ask the psalmist to help with your writing. Okay, talk to you later.